I always like to cite my sources. So throughout this workshop, I'm going to be referencing Dr. Richard Boyatzis. Richard Boyatzis, along with Mel Smith and Ellen Van Osten, are at Case Western Reserve University. They have over 20 plus years of researching what I call neurocoaching and the brain. And so this is their newest book, Helping People Change, NEA. Now, one thing I want to be really careful about is that we recognize that although the title is Negative Emotional Attractor, it doesn't mean that this is bad at all. So we will trigger the NEA, or the negative emotional attractor, when we focus on our goals, our objectives, the organization's goals. The NEA is really helpful when the building's on fire. We need a quick decision. We need people to be focused. What this does, though, is it arouses a stress response in the body biologically. The participant or the coachee will release hormones. Their blood pressure will get increased, as will their heart rate. In a few minutes, we're going to watch a quick video from Dr. Richard Boyatzis, Case Western Reserve Org Behavior faculty, and he did a study with Dr. Jack, and Dr. Jack is a neuroscientist at Case Western Reserve University, and they did a study on students with their permission, where they had coaches that would ask questions to trigger the PEA and then ask questions to trigger the NEA. And the results of these findings, so they did fMRIs with the students, of course, with their permission, and the parts of the brain that are triggered when we use these two different approaches or ask these, questions differently is pretty profound. The part that's triggered in the brain when we activate the PEA are the parts of the brain that we already know are tied to long-term learning, tied to behavior change. The NEA triggers a different part of the brain, and those parts of the brain do not show sustained change. When we engage in a meeting and we start with the organization's goals, fears, weaknesses, expectations, and problems, we're going to trigger the person's NEA. Now, I want to be really certain that we're all on the same page, that it is not a bad thing to trigger the NEA, because there are situations where it's going to be the best approach for us to do as coaches or as leaders. However, research is showing that we're much better off triggering the PEA more.